Welcome to Take 5, a podcast brought to you by Newleaf Training and Development. Each edition is an inspiring interview with a leader worth listening to. Enjoy!
Hey, I'm Paul Butler. I'm one of the client partners at Newleaf Training and Development, and I'm so delighted to be joined today by Haydn Shaw, who is the founder of People Driven Results. Haydn, can you believe it? For nearly 17 years, Newleaf has focused on our core purpose of simply helping people and organizations better manage themselves, lead others, and grow business acumen. I just wondered, what are your recommended best practices to help people and organizations be their best? But please start, though, by telling us a little bit more about you and your organization, so what you do and who you serve. So over to you, Haydn, and I'll wrap it up when you're done.
Hey, thanks, Paul. What I do is help organizations sort through the generational differences and to cut the turnover, especially the turnover of people who are in their 20s, Gen Z, younger millennials, the age group that has by far the highest turnover. And so how do you reduce that? And so let's just take a moment and look at a few things organizations can do that I found really makes a difference in answering your question, Paul. So 6 essentials. Number 1, people get told the truth about the job before they get hired. I know that sounds completely crazy, but how many people do you run into who are ready to quit because what they were told and what it's like don't really match up? You cut your turnover if you tell people the truth. Essential number 2, when it comes for organizations that really want to do their very best, when it comes to everyone in the workplace, the people aren't alone after they're hired. You think about maybe a manufacturing environment where people are eating in the lunchroom after the morning shift, and suddenly you got a person who's new and they're sitting down looking at their lunch and they're staring at their lunch and not making eye contact with anybody. And then 3 days later, they're eating in their truck. And then 2 days after that, they don't come back in after lunch. And someone says, where's Haydn? And they said, well, I looked out the door and it looks like his truck's gone, and they ghosted, because if they're looking down at lunch, they're not going to stay. Essential number 3, they don't have to guess how they're doing or who's on their side. Now, we all like to know that we've got somebody on our side, but it's especially important for people who are newer to the workplace, who have always had coaches that have been there for them and beyond them and behind them and sticking up for them. And for those of us who didn't really have that when we started, that can throw us off. But for people to know that you got this, we're behind you, we're for you, and we're supportive of you. And there's some tools that can help make that really happen for organizations. So essential number 4, if you want to have a great organization that's great for everybody, they have open conversations with their managers about work, the team, and how both are working for their life. One of the things that the research shows is that people in their 20s, emerging adults is the technical name for that life stage. Emerging adults want leaders, want authority figures, want people older than them, other than their parents, they can think out loud with. So if you can lean into the negative rather than getting defensive, you can listen cool rather than get hot about it and try to talk somebody in, for example, to staying. Being someone who can let somebody think out loud about leaving is absolutely the best way to help them stay. And number 5, they want to know what's going on in the business and why things are not always the way they want. Being able to explain why the business needs what it needs and does what it does, even if they don't like the answer, is a skill that invites people in and reduces turnover. And lastly, you can reduce turnover, especially for people who are newer in their career, if they have clear conversations with their manager about the future. I remember one HR director who said whenever someone wanted to talk to her about their future, she grabbed her head and fell out of her chair and faked an aneurysm because she didn't feel like she had great answers. But having honest conversations with people builds a loyalty and at least the willingness to stick around and think things through. So I found those 6 things to be absolutely, positively ways that reduce turnover in the real world.
Brilliant. Haydn, thanks ever so much for that. It's really interesting to learn more about your insights on that particular generational piece, and really wanted to say a big thank you for your practical insights into that whole world. I hope it's going to be very useful for our subscribers and listeners. And talking of subscribers and listeners, that pay attention to our website for the events that we do on a regular basis, most of which of them are available for free, unless we're partnering up with another organization. And again, Haydn, just a very big thank you. It's great to see you again. Could I offer you a virtual high five? Thanks, Haydn. It's great to see you.
Until we do it in person again, Paul.
Thanks, Haydn.
I hope you found that interview useful, and if you did, feel free to rate, review, and share this podcast. We'll be back next week with another episode, and we also invite you to check out our other weekly podcast, Going the Extra Mile, which is sure to lift your spirit and encourage you in today's working world. Bye for now.